to an old money family in Singapore, Kevin Kwan spent the first 10 years of his life around wealth and opulence. At the age of 11, he moved to Clear Lake, Texas, where he graduated from high school at the age of 16 and went on to earn a BA in Media Studies from the University of Houston, Clear Lake. He not too long after moved to Manhattan to pursue a BFA in photography from the Parsons School of Design. Drawing inspiration from his childhood and life in the United States, Kwan gained a unique perspective of both an insider and outsider to his family's lifestyle, sparking the creation of the extravagantly glamorous Crazy Rich Asians trilogy.
You know, we grew up in a large house in the sort of estates section of Singapore. It was very safe, it was very idyllic, and 95% of the population didn't live that way. You know, like I'd never even been into a high-rise building. You know, all my friends lived in houses, things like, you know, so these things I was very detached from. I was in a bubble as a child. So it was only after I left that I realized, oh, it was normal and yet it was abnormal in a way, you know, that I got to see what I saw and experience the things I did. There are so many things in the book that are just taken straight from things I've overheard, you know, and there's so many things I couldn't say because they would be way too outrageous.
Making the small things matter, Kwan's storytelling is focused on understanding what the fashion choices of his characters reveal about their inner self. In the all-consuming glitz of his novels comes a wholesome story that speaks to the small and silly parts of the reader's personality. Striking at the reader's deepest humanity, Kwan's portrayal of Rio, in a seemingly far-fetched world of immense wealth, is done in a subtle way of bringing out bits and pieces of his characters' pride and shame, giving them heart and raw emotion. While the wealth of Crazy Rich Asians is fantasy to some, the characters of Nick Young, Rachel Chu, and Astrid Long, just to name a few, connect with readers on a personal level that encompasses the bits of ourselves that we're proud of, try to hide from, and simply who we are. Whether it's Astrid's shame in buying a pair of earrings because she's wealthier than her husband and does not want to make him feel insecure, or Nick's connection to his vintage Piaget watch, a gift from his late grandfather, the small accessories that these characters own represent much more than the material. Astrid's struggle with coping to the lifestyle of a housewife is apparent in her shopping habits. She hides all of her purchases in discreet spots around her lavish penthouse apartment so that her husband Michael doesn't find them. Metaphorically, she has to hide her true self, living a double life so that her husband feels secure in their marriage. While she doesn't flaunt her wealth through ostentatious jewelry or fashion, she enjoys the indulgence and freedom of shopping to be rebellious and express her creative nature, but also as a mechanism to fill a void in her life. Kwan elaborates on her purchases of a vintage Burmese pearl drop earrings set with emeralds and rare pigeon blood red rubies, worn by Queen Supalayat, who self-anointed the throne of Burma in 1878. The earrings signify Astrid's strength, intelligence, and giving nature. They stand as a representation of her freedom at the end of the novel, in a defining moment where she decides to leave her husband and start living on her own terms. Kwan's unique story is told from various perspectives of characters from a wide spectrum of personalities. The loud and obnoxious best friend, Peekling, of the main female protagonist Rachel Chu, to the overly obsessive cousin Eddie of the main male protagonist Nick. These characters, through their separate journeys, create a story over 3 novels. The Crazy Rich Asians series paints Asians in an entirely different light, destroying stereotypes about the people and culture while building on character nuances to establish Asians as not only engineers or doctors, but people of substance and heart. It lends an ear to the Asian American struggle through Rachel Chu's story, where she, even as a Chinese American, she's ignorant to the Eastern world of wealth that her boyfriend hails from. By creating emotionally relatable characters, Kwan allows Asians not only of Chinese descent, but of the entire region of the world to find themselves in his characters. The reader is able to recognize their own biases of Asian cultures, as well as lean on characters from the book that truly speak to them and their own struggles.